Hi, I'm Jenny from Success Empowerment. Today we are talking about success in 2020. So you're probably thinking with the natural reaction, no, Jenny, success was other years, but not 2020. 2020 has been all kinds of challenges. Shruti, what do you think?
Well, I sort of agree, but I agree that this has been a very difficult year for most people. Everybody seems to be struggling with varying levels of intensity. But I also feel that we all have learned a lot personally, professionally, and it has been unexpected. We may not realize it now, but we will definitely in the future.
And I think that's the key, is the unexpected successes. And as we've worked with different businesses over the year, we have seen a lot of resilience, adaptability, creativity, and people and teams coming up with solutions and being able to make adjustments to their businesses, to their operating procedures, to how they serve their clients in ways that they wouldn't have ever expected that they would need to do. And so I think that oftentimes when we look at our businesses and we look at our teams, we say we set out to achieve these objectives, 1, 2, 3, ABC, and it's pretty clear what we anticipate those achievements will look like. But in 2020, we've had to look at achievements in a different light. And when I say that, I mean the ways we have been so resilient and so committed to finding ways of doing things that we weren't necessarily looking for. And that's a success in itself. We have one client who had to completely reorganize how they interact with all of their clients. And even though their business has suffered, like almost all of our businesses have suffered in 2020, their success was coming together as a team, coming up with new processes and procedures, figuring out ways to still deliver value to their clients, but operating within the confines that were confines that COVID has put around us and how we interact with each other. So I think that moving away from the expected success of a certain revenue number or a certain number of product launches or whatever our normal success means, and looking at it in terms of where were we really adaptable, where were we creative, where were we surprisingly able to find resilience and make it work even though the odds were stacked against us. And I think it's important for leaders to recognize their teams for all of those things, as well as the usual things that we want to celebrate and that we want to reward people for. It's also really important to recognize when people are making big changes in a lot of uncertainty and still managing to come together, to collaborate, to move things forward. So I think that's why it's important to talk to our teams and to acknowledge and recognize everybody for the unexpected successes that we've achieved in 2020.
Absolutely.
So Shruti, tell me about an unexpected success that you've had in 2020.
So one of my unexpected successes has been, meeting you and working for Success Empowerment. And I would say it was unexpected because, I was studying and I never imagined, I was hopeful that I'll get a job, but with COVID being at its peak, I never imagined that, I'll get a job and I'll start working and actually add value to myself and, the work that I'm doing. So that's been one of my wins. And I think working remotely, I mean, the fact that I've never met you in person and we interact on a daily basis and we are, I'm generating the outcomes that you desire of me is one of my achievements.
It's really interesting to think about just, you know, to your point, you've had to be so adaptable in how you interact at work, right? Like you've probably never interacted at work like this before in your whole career history, right?
True, we've had Skype calls. I was a recruiter earlier, and we used to use Skype and other means of communication. But it was always in person. There was always a relationship that I had with the people that I worked with. So this is very different. Also, it was unexpected because I moved to a new country. This year has been 2020 for me has been a year of reinvention in every sense, personal, professional, and yes, it's brought me a lot of success, and I'm quite happy to be honest.
And there's more success to come because with that reinvention,
Yes.
you've built so many new skills and resilience and adaptability and creativity.
Yes, and I agree with you when you said that we need to look at things through another lens. It's what organizational development consultants use. It's a tool called appreciative inquiry. Look at the things which have worked for you and not the things which have not worked for you. So I think, yeah, 2020 needs to be looked at from another perspective.
That's great advice, Shruti. I hope all of you leaders and HR professionals out there can take a moment to reflect on 2020 with the appropriate lens and recognize the hard work of your teams, but also give yourselves some credit for leading through this really challenging and exciting, uncertain, crazy year we've had.